Freddy started out so strong in the first Nightmare on Elm Street. He was menacing, creepy, weird, fucking totally out of control. And then in Dream Warriors, they turned him into this fucking comical, wacky, sneaky fucking Freddy. And they completely trashed the character. It all started in Dream Warriors. The very first scene where they fucked him up is that wizard scene. When that kid comes out and he's like,
I am the Wizard Master. I am the Wizard Master. By the power of Lorax, Prince of Elves, Demon be gone. And then like lightning was coming out and he was like, ah!
Hey, Ira Hayden here from Dream Warriors, the Wizard Master, and I want to welcome you to the second annual 666 Awards. Woohoo, yeah! Oh, and I got a message for that idiot Drew Stepek. Yeah. Hey, in the name of Lorax, Prince of Elves, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6.
Welcome to the second annual Godless 666 Awards. Hosted by Drew Stepek, Rachel Schommer, Christina Pfeiffer. Enjoy the show.
hey everybody, welcome to the Godless 666 Awards. I'm your host and owner of Godless. I'm Drew Stepek. I'm joined today by Christina Pfeiffer, one of the Mothers of Mayhem and a super reader and reviewer. We're also joined today by Rachel Schommer, who is a super reader and I think somewhat involved with Mothers of Mayhem, aren't you?
Yeah. A scotch.
Look at that good-looking picture of that kid behind you.
Look at
in the
that.
tuxedo.
Look at that.
Wow.
You want me? Would you like me? Oh, please.
Fantastic.
Please. Look at that.
Look at that. Dream big, man. Dream big. So, for you, those of you out there who don't know, we know that we're doing this on Chilling Tales for Dark Nights this year, so this is a new audience for us to reach. The 666 Awards is a celebration of independent horror in general, because this year we invited anyone who wanted to be involved to be eligible to get an award. So they, nominated themselves, and we did that. So this isn't an award show where a bunch of people sitting around and circle jerk and kiss each other's fucking ass. We actually had the audience vote. And so as you're going to see from a lot of these winners, it's the people who crushed it campaigning who fucking won, right? So, all right, what are we wearing tonight there, Christina? I'm wearing a Penguin Munsingwear, Godless, and the Godless banner. I got my minor threat pin right here, so I can,
Nice.
Show a love to my straight edge friends in the world.
I've got my boobs so that I can bring in I don't know, the old guys that are the perverts,
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm like the oldest guy in the on the scene, so I guess I'm the biggest pervert out there, right?
Bringing in the grandpas. Got to bring in the grandpas.
Rach, what are you wearing?
Oh, Godless, of course. What else am I going to wear to the
I mean,
666 Awards? Yeah.
I know, right? Just so people out there understand the 666 Awards, because a lot of people see this and they see Godless.com and this shit and they think it's this big satanic dumb fucking thing. It's not at all. My first novel was called Godless, and it came out on June 6th, 2006, which is 666. So that's when I bought the website Godless.com. So I've owned it for, over 23 years now. And that's what I turned into this platform to support indie authors, independent horror authors, and give them a voice outside of their own. The thought was that we take a bunch of independent horror authors who are already, kind of like self-marketing and self-promoting on their own, and unify them and bring them out to build this big amplifier to get their work to as many people as we possibly could. So there's nothing satanic going on here. The 666 and the devil imagery and the pentagram on the main logo and things like that are to be taken with a grain of salt. So
Not
Chilling Tales for
satanic.
Dark Knight's audience. Not satanic. So Chilling Tales audience, if you've been watching Godless Reads, you know that I'm this obnoxious used car salesman who hangs out in alleys and does intros for other people's videos. So we just ask you to support indie horror. And you don't even got to support it on godless.com. You can go to Amazon. You can read KU books. Just support these guys, man. It's really, really, really important to me, and I know it's really, really important to them. And readers and big-time fans like Christina and Rachel and people like that, they want to help too. And so if you want to get involved, go to godless.com. I mean, if you want to distribute your work on Godless, go to godless.com. We got an app and we've got this promotional engine that, it's totally unique and there's nothing like it. There's never been a community-run e-commerce solution ever. You know what I mean? So I just think that you should really look within yourself and support indie horror because it's important. The horror business, horror fiction has been monopolized by several people for, 40 odd years. So it's nice to hear these new voices and things coming from, the younger kin and shit that's coming out that's just bombastic and bitching, because we don't get that in a lot of places, because we kind of promote ourselves as we aren't going to censor anything unless it's racist or, there's like child rape in it and sexual, child rape to the extent that, it's looked at as something that's good. You know what I mean? So we just want to promote horror, and we want to try and take it to what we think is just the farthest level that we can push horror without getting in trouble. And that's kind of the luxury of why when Godless started is, there was books out like Simon McCarty's Mother Maggot and things like that were getting deplatformed from Amazon. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to give it a home. So we did. And Simon's been with the platform since. I really do love the kid to death. So, anything else you guys want to add? I know I've got diarrhea of the mouth. I always do. You know that, Christina?
No. I think you nailed it.
Just if you are gonna go to Godless, make sure it's like payday or the day after payday, because even though the books are cheap, you are going to drop a ton of coin there because, just load up that cart.
But it also you can go there with like $2 and get like a ton of books because some of them are free. So like
that's another reason we started it, Christina. It's like we started this thing because we want to give people an outlet to reach and find an audience and a fan base. So a lot of them start out by releasing like free books and stuff like that, just so people can get a feel if they're authors and figure out if they think they're good enough. And then they'll slowly start charging for their books as they get longer and better, and as the authors actually evolve, which is so crazy to see people who've evolved from when they first started on a Godless and they decided, wow, this is something for me. I want to be an author too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives people an opportunity, I think, that probably normally wouldn't have that opportunity, and I'll pat myself on the back for that.
Good job, Drew.
Good job, Drew.
Good job.
So let's get on with the show. Our first award of the night is Best Audiobook.
Trick or Treater, Godless Reads #1, written and read by Brianna Morgan. Cotton Candy Massacre, written by Christopher Robertson and performed by Alana Nicole Cox. Hamster's Ball, Godless Reads #8, written and read by R.J. Benetti.
Hello, R.J. Benetti here. I would like to thank everyone for the votes. I sincerely appreciate it. I'd like to give a special thank you to Drew Stepek. I swear this isn't herpes. I burnt myself trying to make a grilled cheese. Yes. But thanks again for the votes for Hamster's Ball. It was the first thing I ever published, and all of your support everyone since then has made me want to pursue writing as a full-time kind of thing. I still have my job as a prostitute, but I will continue to write, and I swear this isn't herpes. So thank you for enjoying the Hamster's Ball audiobook. I would also like to thank the professor who he recorded like the first version of the audiobook that's on Godless, and it's just like a masterpiece. So I took a lot of inspiration from his, and I tried to kind of make my own version. So thank you again for the votes. I'm really humbled and honored, and thanks everyone for the support, and thank you again to Drew, and I should go out on the streets to be a prostitute some more. And yep, not herpes. So thank you.
So that wasn't a surprise to me.
No.
RJ is like one of these guys who really kind of came out of nowhere. He's like one of these authors that I was just kind of talking about. Right?
I was going to mention
one of
him.
these dudes that decided that he wanted to start writing and break away from like his real name and his real persona and do something a little edgier and a little different. And so he came out with Hamster's Ball in November of 2021.
Yeah.
Maybe it was October. It was right at the very end of the first 31 Days of Godless, which is what we do during Halloween. And it came out, and it was the craziest thing that this guy found an audience like that.
Yeah.
and another crazy thing about this is he had gotten the professor to do his audiobook. Like if you buy it on Godless, you get it with the professor's reading, Montague White. A lot of you guys know out there that the professor does a lot of stuff for us. He did the voiceover and the opening credits for the show. So when RJ, I went to RJ and I'm like, dude, do you want to do a Godless Reads, man? I really want you to do Hamster's Ball yourself, because he won the Gross Out contest at KillerCon with it and things like that, and there was an appetite for RJ to read it, you know.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit of a shy guy, you know what I mean? So, you know, it was a weird ask, especially since he already had this audiobook. I easily could have just put out the professor's version, but that goes against what Godless Reads is, which is authors reading their own stuff. And he narrated it, and then when I was editing it, I'm like, this is so seedy and bizarre. I really just want to make it totally fucking weird. And so I put in like all this like 70s music, and at first RJ's like, dude, take that shit out. and I'm like, dude, bear with me on this. You gotta stick with me on this, because it's such a gross book, and it feels like it could have taken place in the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it takes place in pet stores and shit, and you're just kind of like, but yeah, I wasn't actually surprised. RJ actually in this category, just with no promotion for himself, just smoked people, and I was totally shocked. You know, he did such a good job of making this and making it his own, and I think that we kind of helped him bring out his persona to the full, and I think he's awesome. I mean, what are your thoughts on RJ, guys?
I've never read
my God. Shut up.
Never read the guy.
RJ. He's everything that kid writes is gold. Like, it is hilarious and gross, and it's just all good. It's all good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's got a new book coming out tomorrow. Which is published by D&T.
Yeah.
Which is, I can't wait for that too. I actually just got the files today. Thanks, Dawn.
I got the file today.
Yeah. I mean, Christina, I know that you're one of the people who got close to RJ really quick. Yeah. Like a lot of people did. It was one of those like instant embrace within the community, just because it's got a lot to do with who he is. I mean, I want to hear your opinion.
That and how he wrote. Like, I reached out to him after he wrote the one about the mom in the store. And I see the shopping part, but I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I reached out to him because I was like, you wrote postpartum depression, like you've been through it. And ever since then, like I jump into his DMs all the time, and I'm like, yes, the drama, I mean, he's like one of my best friends. He's the coolest guy, and his writing is, I mean, he's up for a Splatterpunk award this year, for fart's sake. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's astounding that it happens pretty rare. That the last time I saw someone kind of come out of left field like this and really rise up quick. And I don't want to give RJ a big head. I know he won't get one. But I think the closest thing I can think of is Volpe. And last year, if you didn't know this, Rachel, Volpe won last year. He won Best Novel.
I knew that because Volpe's my homeboy.
Yeah, he's awesome. But I mean, it's a very similar thing to like. He kind of came out of left field. But, I mean, RJ was, for the most part, kind of an unknown. And when he saw Godless, he was kind of like, dude, this is something I can totally embrace and go forward with it and turn into something big, because I'm so offbeat. But just like Christina said, dude, he's got the power and the ability to really capture moments. And capture characters, no matter how strange or fucking bizarre.
Right? We'll go right back to Hamster's Ball.
Rachel, what do you think about Nettie?
What?
Oh, he calls him Nettie, not Bud. Oh.
I call him Nettie. Oh. I don't call him Spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
I don't.
I call him Spaghetti. I call him Spaghetti all the time.
Spaghetti.
That's what
I love him. He brings so we have this group chat where we all just kind of go to bitch, and he brings this sense of, well, first of all, he's hilarious, right? But then he'll just drop this sense of levity into the situation where all of a sudden you're just like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it that way. And he's so funny. But really, what I really like about Spaghetti is Dwight.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm in it for Dwight.
Is he?
That's the only reason you like him.
Is he the author, or is Dwight the author? It's
Dwight. Yeah. It's Dwight.
We sometimes wonder. Whenever I get him to do stuff, he always has Dwight on hand. You know what I mean? And RJ is one of these guys who will do anything, and he will bend over backwards for anyone, even if he isn't a fan of them. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
He's funny as shit. He's unique. You know what he reminds me of? There was a comedian in the 80s who used to do this really deadpan thing. His name was Stephen Wright. Do you guys remember him?
I know the name.
Of course. So, so he was this really deadpan author. And I was thinking, what if Stephen Wright had a kid with some 15-year-old skate rat. I don't want to say 15. Some skate rat kid. And then it comes together and you got RJ Benetti. He's like this skater, stand-up comedian, deadpan, freaking hilarious, insightful author. That
he's so smart, and I think that that pulls through into a lot of his stories. But
yeah. Well, he's great.
He's okay.
Let's move on to our.
He's all right.
He's I heard he doesn't. I heard he doesn't smell well, Christina.
I will skim one of his stories, I guess, if I have to. I'll skim a story.
So let's move on to the next big award, which is Best Short Story.
Best short story.
Toothworms by Laura Gislason. Your English is Good by Colt Skinner. A Puppet Scorned by Jamie Court.
Hello, my friends. It is me, Brad, the sock puppet. It is good to see you again. Now, it has come to my attention that the short story, A Puppet Scorned by Jamie Cord, the fucking lying bastard, has won an award for Best Short Story at the Godless 666 Awards. Now, I suppose I should say thank you to everyone that voted, but you voted for a fucking pack of lies. This story is a fabrication, not a good fabrication, not sexy fabrication. Filthy lies. I will fucking skin him. Anyway, this story is a fabrication and it portrays me very badly. It is shit. Fucking get you, Jamie.
This was the category, you guys, that had the most nominations, different books nominated. It was something like, I want to say like close to 50 different nominees for this category. And another one of these people who actually did such a great job of campaigning was Jamie Cord and A Puppet Scorned. I think that a lot of it had to do with the popularity of the book is because people like Juan and Eve Reed's Horror and a couple other people did TikTok videos about Puppet Scorned that drove people to Godless. I think it's just this, another one of these really unique books. It's like a lot like a way, like Jamie kind of reminds me of if R.J. Bonetti and Reekfield had a kid, right? You know what I mean? He's so offbeat. I don't know. He always does these videos with, as you just saw, he did his acceptance speech with his puppet.
Yeah, that tracks.
Brad,
that tracks.
Which that does track.
That tracks.
Another one of these really unique people who has kind of inched out a certain audience for themselves, where they're just like on the edge of their seat, waiting to see what he's going to do next because it's so original. What are your thoughts on A Puppet Scorned, Rach?
So, Drew, I agree with you. It's a really unique book. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Peter Jackson's Meet the Feebles.
Yeah. I mean, that's it exactly. It's kind of like an X-rated sock puppet show or an X-rated Muppet show, and that's why I think he always kind of gets behind this Brad character. His puppet character is kind of the representative for his books, which is another one of these really weird, unique things that people do. You know, I kind of wish RJ had a hamster as his representative, but you know. Let's wait for her.
Imagine RJ with a hamster.
It would be awesome if RJ had a hamster.
I mean, I guess Dwight's kind of a hamster.
He looks like one.
A little bit big hamster. Christina, what are your thoughts on Puppet Scorned? Have you read the sequel yet? Because I haven't.
Read both of them. Yeah.
Have you?
I have. There's puppets fucking, dude. Like, yes, I'm going to be involved in reading this. And here's the worst part. And I'm like, it's maybe a new kink. Like, I don't know how, but it's hot. Like, they're purling and stitching and he's undoing her. And I'm kind of like, oh, is this a hot flash? What is happening? So it's spicy. And don't judge me. Don't judge me because like half the shit I read.
You ruined your husband's sock drawer after this book came out.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
I know.
But it is. It's spicy.
The joke was there.
It's spicy and like I would guarantee that when people read it, they're going to be like, it's a little, oh my, kind of thing.
Like, we all grew up with, like, Fraggle Rock and the Muppets, you know, like, so, like, it brings in that whole, like, weird childhood, you know?
Yeah. But I think that's ultimately why taboo books about puppets or stuffed animals, or the reason why the movie Ted was so successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just because of that. It's kind of like turning what we know on its head. And I think that's why a lot of people also really took to A Puppet Scorned. So let's move on to the next award. This is Best Novelette.
Best Novelette.
Den of the Were-Rats by Terry Miller. Soup by Kate DeJong. Optic Nerd by Rebecca Rowland.
Wow, this is so cool. Thank you, D&T, for taking a chance on my mystery sci-fi horror hybrid. Thank you, Don Noble, for making a really kick-ass cover. But especially thank you so much, Patrick C. Harrison III. You might be the best editor on the face of this earth, and really this award is shared with you because you make me look good. Thank you. And thank you, reviewers and readers who took a chance on this book, and thank you, Godless. Any horror powerhouse that uses its platform to make the public aware of important programs like Children of the Night is tops in my book, so please keep it up, and thank you guys.
This is the craziest thing, you guys. When I started, first of all, Optic Nerd by Rebecca Rowland was the best-selling book on Godless in 2022.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Crazy awesome. I think that people really gravitated towards the cover, and then once the word of mouth had gotten out about how good it was and how unique it was as well, that they just absolutely had to have it. So beyond that, the first day we opened up voting for the 666 Awards this year, dude, I was just mobbed by votes for this book. More than every other one of the ballots that came through to my email. More than 50% of those had Optic Nerd by Rebecca Rowland. And on top of that, it smoked every single other book in the competition by almost twofold.
That's crazy.
If a book got like 50 votes, let's say that probably the top voting was in the hundreds, but I mean, it blew my mind. I didn't even think we had an audience big enough for the 666 Awards of people voting that could vote for this, and they were all legit. I made sure that this was on the up and up, because I don't want people to accuse me of being a cheater, which I'm sure they're going to do later in the show anyway. I made sure that people had to send through with their ballots. They had to send through one of their social handles, so I could check and see if they were real people. Because anyone can set up an email sock account.
Yeah,
I voted, and I had to go through the whole rigmarole.
Same.
I know it was a pain. I know it was a pain in the ass, but it's like I want to make sure that it's just not some author, and I doubt any author would do this. It would go set up 1,000 different email accounts and just vote for themselves across the board and their friends. I don't want that. I don't want this to be that kind of award show. Like I said, I don't like these circle jerk fucking award shows. They're bullshit. They're bullshit, dude. Everyone who kisses each other's ass in their own little clique, fuck that, man. And that's why I'm glad that we have such a diverse selection of winners. Optic Nerd, it definitely hit a spot with people. And not only the book, I think at the cover and everything about it. And I think that Rebecca is someone to fucking watch. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's on the up and up. What are your guys' thoughts on Optic Nerve?
I was impressed with the plot. It was different. It was... Nobody else was really doing it. And I thought that was really impressive because I read that before it came out. I think I was still with D&T on their street team, and I thought it was extremely different. So
yeah, it's one of those things right down to the cover.
Yeah, that
reminds
cover.
Me,
the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Don Noble, by the way, did that.
Oh, yeah. Shock.
In a really weird way, immediately when I saw that cover and I started reading the book, it reminded me of like a Cronenberg thing. And I couldn't help about thinking about Cronenberg. It reminded me of Scanners. And maybe it was because the cover reminded me of the VHS cover for Scanners, which is really one of Cronenberg's best movies. Another one of these things that you wouldn't really have expected to just grab an audience, just pull them in that quickly. Because, when I put it out, D&T always releases their books on Friday. They pre-schedule like a whole year. I was like, because I knew who Rebecca was, because she had done some anthologies through D&T and things like that. I think she was in Dire Circle. But when that thing came out, people were all over it. And like I said, I was fucking overwhelmed by the amount of people who voted for that. The silver medal winner for this was Soup by Kate DeJong. And that also got a shitload of votes. You know, a lot of people like that book. It didn't get Optic Nerve numbers, man.
Right.
Nothing did. Nothing even came close. Like, not even fucking close.
Well, she also can see talent too, because she did the anthology American Cannibal.
Yes.
And it is fucking bomb. Like, there was one story in there that I didn't like. One story out of all of them.
I haven't read that.
Impressive.
I want to.
Yeah, one. And I think there was like 17 or 18 stories, and I was just like, holy Toledo.
Yeah, she's a Baltimore girl, which makes me happy because I grew up right outside of Baltimore. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
best
even
friends.
Know. I don't even know what that is.
We're like best friends. Me and Rebecca are best friends forever. So, Rachel, what are your thoughts on Optic Nerd?
BFFs.
So I kind of went in not knowing what to expect. And like Christina, I was just kind of blown away. Like, it was, I can see why so many people cast their vote for this one, just because it just, like, I don't know what I was expecting, but what I got was not what I was expecting. And then I did go purchase American Cannibal just based on that. So,
oh, really?
and the cover art on that one too.
That was Len Hansen, I think.
Cover art is everything, man.
I keep telling people that, man. And, you know, it's like the idiom that don't judge a book by its cover is fucking bullshit. True. Especially in a digital fucking book world, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have less than a second to grab someone's eye, and your freaking thumbnail is less than an inch big. So the more dynamic the cover, the more colorful it is, and the less muddy it is, the better it's going to sell. And I'm telling you, the second I put that shit up on Godless, it just popped, and it was right in everyone's face. And I really have to give it up for D&T and Don Noble, of course, and Rebecca for creating something from a creative direction standpoint that just kind of blew up in people's eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I appreciate that book so much, and I really did like it because it's my kind of horror. Like,
right.
It's a stuff that I seek out, and a lot of people aren't writing that type of thing right now, right? It's like you got a lot of people who are writing extreme, and you got a lot of people who are writing splatter and stuff like that. And I think that Rebecca's inched a little more towards traditional horror to me, but it also had these really fantastic elements, like I said, of like kind of a body horror feel of a David Cronenberg type thing. So I congrats, Rebecca. You did an amazing job. The entire package was fucking great.
Yeah.
Our next award is Best Novella.
Abhorrent Fate by John Baltusberger. Decay by Joe Scipione. This is Where We Talk Things Up by Caitlin Marceau.
Hey all, Caitlin here. I just wanted to thank everybody who voted for This Is Where We Talk Things Out in the second edition of the Godless 666 Awards. I am over the moon. I honestly can't begin to tell you how much it means to me to see this novella be recognized by you guys, be enjoyed. I'm still kind of startled, flabbergasted, honored, humbled that this won in the novella category, because there have been so many cool novellas out in 2022, so I'm definitely like surprised and over the moon, pleasantly so about this. I really can't thank all of you enough. Of course, I have to give a special thanks to Darklit Press, Andrew specifically. He took a chance on this book that I didn't know would ever find a home, and I'm so happy that it did, and that it's with like Darklit Press, which is just, I don't know. I owe everything to them, so I'm like really grateful. I cannot thank everyone who voted for this book enough. I cannot thank the other competitors in this category enough for being fantastic and helping make horror what it is. And of course, a special thanks to my family and my mom for giving me lots to write about. I'm only kidding. I'm only half kidding. I'm kidding. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, bye.
So there we go. That's our first Canadian winner of the second annual 666 Awards. It's Caitlin Marceau and her book, This Is Where We Talk Things Out. So this was, I think, the second book that Darklit released on Godless. And another one of these books that was just, for some reason, people gravitated towards it. And it was a lot more female readers than male readers. I think that's because of what the book is about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It's about a relationship between a mother and a daughter, and kind of like where things get fucked up when they try and like iron out their differences. What did you guys think about this one?
It blew up on TikTok. I had FOMO, so I was like, I've got to read this. Because, I got to be like the cool kids, because I don't have enough to read. There's no books in my house whatsoever. But yeah, it's this idea of, this claustrophobic and like you can't get out and you're stuck with your mom. And like, I have a great relationship with my mom now, but I didn't always. And so this kind of triggered that. And yeah.
Did it trigger you?
I'm so easily triggered. I'm like a walking trigger.
I love my mom to death, and I always have, but I can't imagine being in this claustrophobic situation with her. That's got to be the worst thing I can possibly do.
Oh no,
as much as I love my mom.
I would Sylvia Plath myself so fast. Just straight in the oven. Straight head.
You got Plath!
As someone with not a good relationship with their mom, I mean, she thinks it's good. She has no clue.
Moms are oblivious.
Yeah. Well, right. Well, yeah. There's so much more than that. But it, like Christina said, this really kind of like triggered that, and like at Scares That Care, one of the things that Marion talked about was basically how we read things to work through like our own personal traumas and our own personal, and it was like, oh, that makes sense why that book resonated with me, and why it's resonating with like probably a lot of other women who have similar feelings.
Right.
Yeah. I think that even from the writer's standpoint, Rachel, I think that a lot of people use their writing voice as a way to break free of the shit that they've held on their shoulders. I mean, I know I do. Everything I write's about addiction, except for the dumb shit.
Don't read my story. I don't know what I was writing about.
Cooter. Yeah. Writing about your cooter, you fucking dirtball. Mouse and a cooter.
It was a rat.
A zombie rat.
Get it right. Did you even read it, Drew?
Cooter? Yeah, I read it.
I was trying to catch him. Did you see that? I
was you trying to catch me what?
I was trying to catch you that you hadn't read it.
I designed the cover, dummy. Anyway, back to Caitlin's book. I think that you're right, Rachel, and you're right as well, Christina, that it was such a claustrophobic and crazy situation to break free from, and it wouldn't normally be considered something that people would think is a horror situation. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it was powerful, and that's why I think people again gravitated towards this book. I know that Darklit is putting out a new cover. Put the 666 Awards gold medal on it. It's live on Godless now, and the new cover is fantastic. And I think that they did a much better job of kind of showing us what this book was about without really giving anything away. I think people should pick this up, especially if they have some kind of past or present with family members, especially mothers. That I think that this is a really effective book.
It's cathartic. Very much cathartic.
Yeah. So awesome. Let's move on to the next award, which is Best Anthology or Collection.
Acts of Violence, 12 Tales of Terror by Marcus Hawk. ABCs of Terror, Volume 4, D&T Publishing. Call Me Hoop, Bloodbound Books.
This is SC Mendez coming to you live from the Black Lodge. And what better place than this to talk about the 666 Awards? Thank you so much to everybody who voted for Call Me Hoop for Best Anthology. It was an honor to win. I am very appreciative to Drew, to coming to Bloodbound Books and myself to release this into the wild. Bloodbound Books is basically started as an anthology publishing house. That's really all we did in the beginning before moving on to novellas, and it took a while. I think it took like 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years before we did expand. And when you do that many anthologies, you kind of think, well, they're all the same. You collect some stories, you throw them all together. Not the case in this one. It was a very unique anthology, so if you haven't read it, what are you waiting for? Get out there and do it. And for everyone that did vote, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And the biggest shout out, probably, to all the authors that I get to work with. One of my favorite things of editing anthologies is meeting new writers and getting an opportunity to bring their vision to life. And so thank you to all of them and to Drew for allowing Bloodbound Books and myself to help bring Call Me Hoop to life. Now, get out there and don't be a scumbag.
So, Call Me Hoop has won the Best Anthology in the 666 Awards. If you're one of the people who voted for it, then thank you very much. If you're not, then sort your fucking life out.
Thank you for voting Call Me Hoop as the best horror compilation of all time. We're all dinosaurs. We all want to whack off on a dinosaur, and it's a party, a dinosaur whack-off party.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny Brown, the Queen of Filth, or Queenie as Drew started calling me, and I prefer that. And he's definitely asking too much for me to get dressed and put on makeup after I've just finished redecorating my house. But I thought I'd come on and say thank you so much for voting for Call Me Hoop. Amy and her awful cats, definitely thank you because they're free. So thank you so much for voting for the anthology. Amy and Thea may have some more adventures in them, maybe. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you to everybody who voted for Call Me Hoop and pour one out for Corpse Frother.
Hey guys, it's your favorite Florida man, Lucas Milliron, author of Skin Deep and the Call Me Hoop series. I want to say thank you so much in your support in the Godless 666 Awards, getting Hoop to #1. I can't fucking believe it. You guys are some sick, twisted fucks. Keep it weird, keep it horror, keep it Florida man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go celebrate with the pub sub. Later.
Thanks everyone who voted Call Me Hoop for its well-deserved win in the Best Anthology category. For those who didn't, we'll see you in hell.
Hey, this is Lewis Kelly. I wanted to thank everybody who read and voted for Call Me Hoop. I also wanted to give a special thanks to Drew and all the other amazing authors that were a part of this anthology. It was a great honor to be invited. Thank you, everyone.
I wanted to thank everyone for voting for Call Me Hoop, and I also wanted to thank those who I beat into voting for Call Me Hoop for the 666 Awards, Best Anthology. That's fucking awesome.
Boom! Yes. I mentioned earlier that people are going to call me a fucking cheater and that I rigged this shit. But I'm going to tell you what, dude. Nobody ran a better campaign on this in the 666 Awards this year than me.
Yep.
And it was that important to me because this book, Call Me Hoop, which is by me, forget everyone, it's by me, Lucy Leitner, Lucas Milliron, John Stepek, Lewis Kelly, Peter Caffrey, Danny Brown, and Ryan Harding, and it is edited by S.C. Mendez from Bloodbound Books, who released the book, gave me such a gift with this, because this is why we started the Godless platform.
Mm-hmm.
This series, which is called Fucking Scumbags Burn in Hell, and we turned it into Call Me Hoop, which is a series that's ongoing, or should be ongoing if I wasn't so busy doing other dumb shit, like changing the prices on people's fucking books and telling people that I don't fucking ship out physical copies of books every single fucking day. But they gave me this gift. They got involved in something, which was the story here, Call Me Hoop, not knowing anything about Godless really yet, or knowing anything about me. They kind of put their trust in it, and they wrote within my universe, which makes it a unique book in that it's just not some anthology where people write their own stories. It's, dubbed a horror anthology or an extreme horror anthology or a Halloween anthology. It all takes place in one universe, and it surrounds the story of these really, really shitty people and how the devil punishes them.
Yep.
And I wanted to thank everyone so much who was involved in this. I gained some really, really, really close friends doing this series. I feel like I'm going to cry because it was just everything to me that they came on board to support a platform that no one really knew anything about right when we launched, and got behind this and were giving enough to play in my universe. And also on top of that, help me construct it further and build it further out. People added characters and people added powers and devices and all this shit that made it move along to the ending. Bloodbound Books believed in this from the beginning because, like I said, this is why I started Godless, was because I noticed that people, you couldn't sell books for 50 cents on Amazon. So that was kind of the thing, is we do this anthology series, but we'll release one a month by a different author. I did more than anybody else, but by a different author, and we sell these for 50 cents. And then when we're done with it, we kind of roll it all together and we put it out as an anthology that's a lot more like a television show than it is a book or an anthology of a series. I thought that I think that Chilling Tales from Dark Nights is going to get a bunch of their pro-freaking narrators to do this series.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm really hoping that's still going to happen, and I don't know, but I think they're going to do it in kind of like a play style. I don't really know what they call that, but but like actually build it out like a full thing, not just someone narrating it. You know,
Oh, that's cool.
We would get someone to play Hoop, and then everyone else would come in as someone new.
They have amazing narrators.
They do.
Oh, so sick, dude. Yeah. The original, my book, Knuckle Supper and Knuckleball, were done by Jason Hill. And you know, we released both of them on Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, and it was just the most astounding thing that's ever happened to me, because I got my work heard by so many other people. I don't know. I don't want to carry on. I want to thank all you guys so much. Not only those of you who voted for Call Me Hoop, but the people who participated in this. And I know it was a very daunting task. And I know that I can personally be a huge fucking pain in the ass, right?
No.
But I had a vision, and I stuck with it. And I also learned a lot. I had never, ever collaborated with anyone in my entire life as a writer. I'm a solo author. I've never written for anthologies or anything. And that's why this opened up this entirely new world for me. And it led to the creation of the Godless. And it led to the creation of all these other things we're doing, where we're bringing these independent authors together to do different shit, you know, and participate in something that's different than, I'm just going to go release my book on Amazon. But
yeah,
you guys, man, all you guys who participated in Hoop, we call ourselves the scumbags. I really do love you guys to death, man. I think this is such a deserved win. Of course, I'd say that because I participated and created this, and I don't give a fuck if you think I cheated, man. No one ran a campaign like this kid. And you know what sucks?
It's true.
Is that I still got smoked by Rebecca. Smoked. You know?
Nice.
And she did, I don't think she did a lot of campaigning, but there was like this D&T force. I think that D&T got a placement medal, mostly silver, except for Optic Nerd, in every category, except for Audiobook. So I mean, they just, Dawn has got a really good way of bringing people together. You know what I mean? Like her authors and her stable, they are like a family. They're a lot like you know, the Godless family, in the sense that they all stick behind each other. So when Dawn started sending out, you know, announcements of like, go vote for me, and she was campaigning and stuff, she's got this swarm around her.
Oh yeah,
of, like all the authors in her stable, which was great. But you know, I just appreciate it. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about Hoop. I don't know if both of you read it.
I've never read it. I don't know any of these authors.
Never heard of them.
Never. We're actually reading the profile right now in a group chat with Ryan. So we're getting to.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna tell you. I keep interrupting you just because we all know I talk a lot.
Perfectly fine.
But yeah, for me, getting Ryan out of the gate was a big get. I knew Ryan before this, and you know, he doesn't have a lot of free time. Not only does he write, but you know, he's got a full-time job, and he releases these great books. I mean, of a lot of people consider Gentle Grinder to be like the crowning gem on like this kind of new wave of horror, and I agree with that. For me, it was just such a fun.
Oh, it's only your comfort book.
It is my comfort book. I talk about it for 2 hours in a few weeks.
Yeah. But personally, my favorite story in Hoop was Pink. I love the way that Stepek talks, and I love the way I can hear him in his stories. I don't want to discount anyone else. They were all fucking fantastic, right? Especially Caffrey. When I got that from Caffrey, I really got a sense for his flow and his style. And that motherfucker, there's nobody like that dude. There's nobody like Peter Caffrey.
No.
He's
love
got
Peter.
such a smooth style, man. And I love all these guys. And, you know, I talk to them constantly still. Even though this came out over, you know, we started the Scumbag series over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And this came out last year. And it's just like, there's a special connection that kind of came out of this?
I bought all this, like, I think all of the stories, like, one by one on Godless. Right? And then, I mean, I'll just go ahead and throw this out here. I won one of the Godless giveaways, and so I got this sweet-ass signed version here, right? I haven't read it, and as I'm pretty sure Drew told me not to put my dirty fingers on it. But so I haven't read all the stories, but I've read a couple of them that I piecemealed together. I love a good, like, I've worked in like customer service, something related to it my whole life. So like if there's a comeuppance for somebody who's a total dickbag, I am there for it. I want to read all about it. So like bad people getting what comes to them is like, yes, bring it on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why the formula worked, right?
Yes.
It's like a lot of setup, and then just this punchline as soon as the devil says, "Call me who." I think that it was special like that, and as formulaic as it was, and almost procedural. I kind of appreciate that people played into the formula. I don't. Christina, what was your favorite story in the book?
I'm gonna get in trouble, but probably Lewis Kelly. I love that kid. Something terrible. Ever since I read The Hunger, I have been a huge fangirl of his. And so when I found out he was going to be in this, I DM'd him and was like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like,
yeah,
it was.
I was surprised that I actually got him to do an acceptance speech, and this is nothing against Lewis.
He's very quiet.
Where he's at.
Yeah,
he's very to himself, and that's why I was surprised. I appreciate it, and I love Hell Week too.
I like the college, like, I don't know. But here's the thing, there's not a bad one in there.
Mm-mm.
That's the thing. So,
well, that's why it won.
Right? Well, that and Drew was counting them both.
It won because I cut the bucks, baby. 1 for you, 0 for you, 2 for me. I wanted to say I really appreciate it, you guys. This was more than a passion project for me. I think that it is the reason that Godless exists, and we hope to hear more of it soon. And we also hope that Chilling Tales is going to do it. So
yeah,
no better place than
awesome.
right now to say. So let's get on to the big award of the night, which is Best Novel at the second annual 666 Awards for 2023.
Autumn Gotham by Brian Bowyer. Born Sick by Aaron Liebel. Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson.
Hi, I'm Christopher Robertson, author of The Cotton Candy Massacre, and I can't believe I'm here right now. I guess more of you are into clowns than I thought. That's just me. So seriously though, I need to thank so many people. Thank Godless for being a voice for the underground, for hosting these awards, to every single reader and person who took the time to vote for the Cotton Candy Massacre. You're saying to everyone who ever told me I can't do this, myself included, to go to hell. Thank you for that. To the people who helped get me here, who supported me along the way, like Rob, Derek, Jamie, Craig, Cass, Brett, the people who helped me get this book made, Matt, for the artwork, Kelly for editing, Nikki for shouting to the world about my crazy little clowns, Alana at Locks Productions for the audiobook and being the voice of Lee, and to the real Solly the Clown for being such an inspiration, for agreeing to be part of the book, and assuring me that she's not cannibal. And last, I need to thank the person I wrote this book for, Casey. I started it just as an excuse to spend time with you, and shortly after these awards, we'll be celebrating 1 year together. I wonder what we should do. We should go to a carnival. And I'm sure it'll be fine, and I hope everyone loved the Cotton Candy Massacre Part 2 as much as you did the first one, and thank you all again for doing this. I'm gonna go cry now. Thank you.
The Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. I've got a story about this book. When Kelvin Allison started releasing his Jingles books on Godless, for the first one, I did a clown deck, right? And I put all the clown books on the site, and they were visible, and I made a Godless graffiti for clowns and stuff like that. And for some reason, I didn't put Cotton Candy Massacre in that. And this was a one-day thing, right? I got freaking like 50 emails from people and messages on Facebook. They're like, why isn't Cotton Candy Massacre in there? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I put the collection together because I just searched for clowns. And for some reason, that didn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
When Chris gave me this book, I was just like, dude, this is so cool. And I kind of went into it out of the gate. I'm not a huge fan of Carnival or Evil Clown shit, because it seems like a lot of people lean on it and Pennywise and Carnival of Souls and like all these kind of standard fare stories at this point. It's gotten to the point where Evil Clowns is kind of a trope for horror.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way he approached this story, and as you guys know, this also got the silver medal for best audiobook. This was such a unique take on it, and it's also a unique take on 80s fiction, 80s horror fiction, and things like that. Because Chris didn't just lean into the cliches of both those things. There's this kind of like mob angle to it that revolves around the circus, and it's just, it reminds me of Barker. And not because it's like a Barker-esque or super splattery or really upbeat, because it's fairly realistic fiction, but what he does in it is these mob guys. You always look at Barker's work, and if you look at Hellbound Heart, or you look at Weave World, or any of these things, there's always this kind of British mob element. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of British TV, and I watch a lot of British crime TV, and everything always goes back to that Barker to me. Obviously not stories like Great Stupid Show and things like that, but that's the feeling I got out of this book right out of the gate, and it was really effective. I think that he did a good job of not falling into the trap of, hey, I'm going to write something that's like it, minus the pedophilia scene, or I'm going to write something that's totally 80s and there's going to be like a Rubik's Cube on the bed and shit like that. He didn't fall into any of those cliches, and that's why I think it was powerful. It was also a bloody ass book, right? But I mean, the killings were really cool and unique, and the clowns didn't even really sneak up on you. I really, really, really like this book, and I really look forward to seeing more from Chris. Chris just told me after he sent me his acceptance speech that the sequel is coming out soon, and I can't wait. I can't
That's
wait.
cool.
I think that this is such a well-deserved honor, and whether or not it had a lot to do with the way Chris campaigned and the way he just killed it for his audience, made the 666 award seem important to him, and this book is outstanding, and I think that he fucking nailed it. I don't want to be a dick and say that I would never have expected this to win, Because like I said earlier, I opened this up to everyone. So everyone could have been nominated for this. And some of the biggest authors, I won't name anybody, some of the biggest authors in independent horror right now were eligible. Even though they don't sell shit on Godless, because I wanted it to be about independent horror in general, right? But I love how he smoked these guys, and this is nothing against them, because he showed a lot of heart in the way he did it. And this book is all about heart and passion, and that's why it won. Because you get the feeling from this guy, who's also really shy, like he's the polar opposite of an RJ. You know what I mean? But I mean, he was incredibly gracious, and really, even through all his campaigning, and obviously great assets that he produced to promote himself in this book, he never in a million years would have expected this. And dude, I know this is just some shitty made up award, you know, but it meant something to him. It also means something to me.
Right.
And I think this is a very, very, very well-deserved one. And I couldn't be happier about it. And I don't want anyone to think that, wow, I'm just glad this won because it was on Godless. You know, and he had all this stiff competition from authors who, you know, are either on KU or sell themselves or are strictly towards Amazon and BNN and don't want to be involved with Godless. But it's a Cinderella story for me. Because I like the book and I like Chris as a person. I was very excited to see this one. And another one of these books too. You know, it wasn't at the level of Optic Nerd, but I mean the votes were just pouring in around this book. And when it originally started, I was kind of like, what the fuck? And I actually checked. I actually checked people's social handles because I'm like, this is smoking that. And you know what? I agree with it. As much as this is a popularity contest, I think that we've seen in this show, and we saw last year, it's about voting for people you know who get heart and who really believe in their writing and themselves and believe in the platform as a real fucking thing, right? This isn't a hobbyist thing for a lot of people.
Right.
And Chris showed that, man. And Chris, thanks so much for this book. It meant a lot to me. I'll stop talking.
So it's funny that you went and checked people's social handles, because I saw Nikki, a page casting witch, talk about this on socials, and she just blew it up. She loved it. I trust her. She's really cool. So I checked it out, and I struggle with clown. I have my own clown story, so I struggle with scary clowns and that kind of stuff. But it's a great summer read, and I love the 80s vibes, the 80s band references, and just the gore and the creativity. So I don't know, she didn't steer me wrong. Nikki didn't steer me wrong. It was a great read, and I don't know Chris, so I didn't know that he was a really great guy too. So it just makes my heart happy to see somebody so deserving win.
Right, and it's a lot of the same of how I felt last year. It's like I don't know. I mean, I knew Dan was going to win. I don't think there was really any question in anyone's mind that was going to win the 666 awards, right? But it made my heart happy because I like him as a person and I like his writing. I like Chris's writing a lot, and honestly, I can't wait for the sequel. Christina?
Well, speaking of Daniel Volpe, keeping with tradition, I did not read this one. I did not get time to read this one.
You better read it now.
Just like I've read Left of You. I haven't.
Jesus.
I know. I'm a terrible
You're a real
person.
piece of shit, man.
I am the worst of the worst. I own it and it's signed. So I mean, I got that. If I can't support them by reading it, I support them by buying it.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I know what you like. I'm not even kidding. I know what you like.
Mm-hmm.
I've known you for a pretty long time now, and I know you're gonna like this book.
Oh, I'll pick it up.
And I'm telling you.
Uh-oh.
You're gonna like it because you're gonna see that he didn't fall into the traps that are laid out in front of anyone who decides to write anything that is circus related or clown related or 80s related. He turns things on its head, and that's what I appreciate about it.
You know, I love that.
Also, the way that's the way I like to do things. Like, right, you take a trope, you strip it down, and you rebuild it.
Yep.
And that's what Chris did here, and that's why this won. It had a lot to do with what a good writer he is, and how he lays out this plot, and how he builds this universe, which is obviously a massive enough universe for a sequel, which is coming out. Yeah, it's so well deserved. So well deserved. And
I love the cover. Like the cover is everything.
Oh, it's killer, dude.
Is the sequel coming out like this summer? Because I do like, I love a good clown or circus story in the summer.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? As soon as you get into the sequel, I haven't read anything yet, but you're gonna understand that this is a real summer feel. I'm sure that you got that from the book as well. It's like whenever you read stuff that takes place in carnivals or fairs, or stuff that we associate with summer, like the beach and sharks and stuff like that, it gives you that feeling. And I'm almost positive, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure he's releasing it in August. Which is
nice.
Right at the end of the summer. He could be releasing it in July. Hopefully it's going to come early to Godless.
Fingers crossed.
Chris, you listening?
right?
Yeah,
He already know he won,
so
so why would he listen?
Yeah, he's not watching this shit.
If I won something, I'd be like, I'm not watching that. I already know I won.
Yeah, he was the only person this year to win two. Well, he won a silver.
Right.
As you remember last year, Ray and Havoc won 2 golds.
Yeah. And
Who?
then
everyone did that.
Yeah, I've
Ray.
never.
Just kidding.
That's weird. I've never heard of that person. I would never want her to spit in my mouth.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. It's a kink. Thanks, Header 3. You know, now it's like this. I want him to spit in my mouth. Use me like a spittoon, baby.
Header 3, huh?
We just finished that too.
Did Ryan do that?
He did. I whine until I get my way.
What a good guy.
He really he puts up with. He hasn't blocked me yet, so like he deserves an award just for being like saint for dealing with me
Dude,
like daily.
I've been friends with you longer. I've been friends with you longer than Harding. I would never block you. Appreciate you guys watching it. Chilling Tales audience, thanks so much. I'm sure you find this weird. I mean, I know you think I'm a creep and a used car salesman. I made sure that I wore this blazer because it's the most used car salesman that I have. I just wanted to kind of give one final note, and then maybe you guys can sign up too. Is just that Godless isn't only important to me, and we all know it is. I put in a lot of time doing this. Godless.com and Godless app. It's important to the authors who participate in it because this is one of the only ways that they can get the word out on what they're doing creatively. A lot of these books are banned. A lot of these books have been deplatformed, and we give them the freedom to do this. So if you can support Godless and support indie horror in general, it's super appreciated. I know a lot of people like mainstream horror and like the cliches we were talking about. That's fine. But if you do want to move away from the New Kids on the Block and listen to the Sex Pistols, come to Godless. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the support we always get. and we appreciate all the love from the audience. And we especially appreciate the people who comment on the Godless Reads videos and say that I'm a fucking dumbass, an old man, a used car salesman.
Why? Go touch grass
joke.
or something.
Ah, no, dude, I love it.
Go touch grass.
As I just said it in my Godless Reads, which was me this week. It's kind of like the pre-show for the 666 Awards. That you can say whatever the fuck you want about me in my intros, whether you think it's cheesy and I'm annoying and I'm this and that. If I'm some fucking dirty old man and I'm some old fucking kook and whatever, it's like I got thick fucking skin, dude.
Right.
So I've been kicked around my whole life, so I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck what you think about me, right? But if you start ragging on the fucking authors that we're trying to support, that's when you fucking cross the line with me, man. Because it's like, no one else has done a show where fucking authors read their own shit, especially independent authors. And a lot of these people are really fucking shy, man.
Yeah.
You know, we're giving them the opportunity to break out, and when people dig into shit, and it's like, well, the sound quality on this is blah blah blah.
Who cares?
It's like fuck you, dude.
It's
These
free.
motherfuckers
Calm
don't have money.
down.
These motherfuckers don't have money. Just deal with it. We're doing something different. We're not saying we're putting out a fucking, the Lord of the Rings television show here. These are fucking zero budget, dude. These are zero budget, and
It's
they
probably
make the
negative.
platform $0 fucking dollars, dude.
Yeah.
So, think about that if you're going to rag on them. But as I said, feel free to fucking knock the shit out of me all you want.
Oh my God. Start a beef with me. Like, I am all about it. I don't have a beef going on right now. We will Tupac and Biggie it. Like,
where's the
please.
beef?
Like,
Never where's the
please
beef.
bring it to me.
But thanks so much, everybody. Christina, Rachel, thank you so much for being on this.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
Really appreciate it. And we love everyone.
No, not everybody.
I do like you know what's weird about me is I don't really hate them.
Ooh. Oh, I've got a list. Hold on.
And the order of my list is...
It's alphabetical and tabbed and color-coded.
But thanks for staying up late with us, and thanks for watching the second annual 666 Awards. Next year we will be doing a third, and we look forward to it, man. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep this thing going and keep doing what we're doing. Let's be original, let's be unique, and let's roll it out. Congrats to all the fucking winners, because you guys did an amazing job of campaigning, writing, creating, and building. And that's important. And that's what Godless is all about. Especially me.
Especially you.
You know what I mean? I mean, who doesn't love me? The old turd trying to be down with fucking, a younger audience. Yeah, one of the videos I said, what's grossest about me? The cat hair all over my sweatshirt, my bulimia teeth, or yeah, people don't like me.
But
what about this guy? Do people like this guy?
That guy.
Fuck yeah. Look at those eyebrows, dude.
I mean, dream big. Drew, you're over here living your big dreams, so maybe that's why. Maybe they're just salty about it.
They are. They're salty. They're jealous. So, go.
They're saltines.
Go
All right,
suck
you guys,
butt.
thanks so much for doing this with me. Christina, thanks for doing it again. Rachel, thanks for doing it for the first year.
Thanks for having
we'll see you
me.
again soon. No worries. Go check out godless.com for all your favorite, craziest independent horror books and pick up some new gear. It's fucking rad as fuck. Good night.